Let us all sit upright. Focus on the beautiful murti of Shri Ram. Let us join together. Om Tat Sat Shri Sitaram Chandraya Namah. Hari Om Tat Sat Om Shri Sitaram Chandraya Namah. Om Ganganapate Namah. Om Saraswatye Namah. Varnanamartha Sanghanam Rasanang Chandasamapi Mangalanang Chakartaro Vande Vani Vinayako Bhavani Shankaro Vande Shraddha Vishwasarupina Yabhyam Vinana Pashyanti Siddha Swanthastameshwaram Bande Bodhamayang Nityam Guru Shankara Rupinam Yamasrito Hivakropi Chandrah Sarvatya Vandhate Sitaram Gunagrama Punya Aran Viharina Vande Vishuddha Vigyano Kavishwara Kapishwaro Shri Guru Charana Saroj Raja Nija Mana Mukura Sudhar Varano Raghubar Vimalayasha Jodaya Kapalachar Bodhyahina Tano Janike Sumiro Pavana Kumar Bal Buddhi Vedya Dehu Mohi Harahu Kalesha Vikar Siyapati Ramachandra Ji Ki Jai Sharanam. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukam eva bandhanam mrityur mokshamamritat Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namah. Om Shri Sitaramachandraya Namah. Janidar Pahu Muni Se Dhasu Resha Janidar Pahu Muni Se Dhasu Resha Tumhi lagi Daryahu Nar Jaya Rama Shri Rama Jaya Jaya
Rama Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama
Asana Sahita Manushayav Karavan Saudara. Everybody. वेद सुरेशा तुम ही लागी धरहु नरवेशा. Remember, devotees, Ravan is at the height of his power. He has conquered, has achieved dominion over essentially the entire world. And so, a period of darkness enveloped the entire world. Ravan was not one who believed in the rights of others and went about taking what he wanted, regardless of consequences. It reached so bad that even the sages in the forest, he sent his army to them, telling them they need to pay tax. Sages responded, what can we give? We are sitting on a few paces of land, which is, if you use a modern term, it was state land basically, because they didn't own it, but they were just sitting there praying. And they said all they could give is their blood. That's all they had. And the devotees, they cut their own hands and collected that blood and gave it. And said, take it to Ravan. Devotees, this act was the height of his atrocity in many ways. Because they also said that give it to the king, but let him know wherever it is opened, there famine and destruction will take place. Ravan, with all his power, when he was told that, he was still afraid of curse. He had a number of curses actually that were in place in his life. Amongst them also was once he had raped a maiden, a girl. And he was given a curse after that rape that if he forces himself on any woman after that, he would immediately die. Which is why many people ask the question, why was Sita under his dominion, as it were, in his palace, not palace, in his kingdom, refusing to go in the palace? Why did Ravan not force his way on her? And it is for fear of that curse. Once the woman willingly accepts him, then there was no issue. So Ravan had that curse pending on his head. And also now, this curse from the sages, when that jar of blood was given to him, taken to his court, he said, no, don't open it here. He always found a way, even though he was so powerful, yet still he had fear. He said, take it and open it in Janak's kingdom. Why Janak? Because Ravan was, to put it simply, bristling with anger. Because Janak had proven to be more intellectually inclined than him. Now, Ravan was a Vedanti, he was a scholar. But in a conversation with Janak, Janak proved to be superior in his knowledge of the world and of scriptures. And Ravan always held that enmity for Janak because of this. And so, to do Janak bad, this jar of blood was carried to Janakpur, devotees, which is in present-day Nepal. But that act of trying to do Janak harm, actually when you look at what happened, it gave rise to the appearance of Sita Ma in Janakpur. And the appearance of Sita Ma ultimately caused what? Ravan's death. So Ravan felt he did Janak harm, what did he do? That act ultimately, as we would say, came back to bite him. At this time, devotees, the Devatas, they were all very, very uneasy. They prayed to Bhagwan and knowing that the earth was terror-stricken, as it were, none could assist. We begin this verse, this chaupai, where from the heavens a voice emerged. Fear not, O sages, O holy ones, for your sake I will assume the form of a human being. So this is the first reference here, where Akash Vani itself, the voice from the heavens, says, fear not, I will assume a human form. Devotees, after a short time, the voice says, in the glorious solar race, Suryavansh, I will assume a form together with my part manifestations. Devotees, as we know, Sri Ram came with Lakshman, Bharat and Shatrughan. Tulsidas ji says, Kashyapa-diti mahatap kinha तिन्ह कह मैं पूरब वर दीना जय राम श्री राम जय जय रामा कश्यपदिति महातप कीन्हा तिन्ह कहो मैं पूरब वर दीन्हा ते दशरथ कौशल्या रूपा कोशलापुरी प्रगत नर भूपा प्रगत नर भूपा राम प्रगत नर भूपा प्रगत नर भूपा प्रगत नर भूपा जय राम श्री राम जय जय रामा श्री राम जय जय रामा श्री राम जय जय रामा कश्यप अदिति महतप कीन्हा तिन्ह कहो मैं पूरब वर दीना. The voice from the heavens said, the great sage Kashyap and Aditi, they performed severe penance. When Bhagwan appeared, they asked for a boon, which was, they had a desire to nurture the Lord as a child, as a parent to a child, love that exists between a parent and a child. They wanted to experience that with Bhagwan himself. So he reminds the Devatas that I have given a vow, my word to Kashyap and Aditi, long before, and so that must come to pass. And that boon, devotees, was that he would come as their child. He says further, Te Dasharath Kaushalya Rupa. In this birth, they have come as Kaushalya and Dasharath. And so, I will appear in the city of Ayodhya as the child of Dasharath and Kaushalya. Now, devotees, sometimes we hear Katha and we don't stop to think, many people, what am I being told? What philosophical truth is being portrayed in this statement? The voice from heaven said, from my analysis, I am seeing two principles emerging that I wish to point out and to emphasize for us to get, for us all, including myself, to get a better sense of. And devotees, this sometimes becomes very, very involved when you think about it. From these two verses, what do you get? We are told that Bhagwan says what? I will assume the form of a human being. What is the principle emergent here? Somebody tell me. Bhagwan assuming a human form. What is the Hindi term we use? He takes... Huh? Usha? Avatar. An avatar. Any other saw the movie Avatar? Avatar as they call it. Same concept, you know. Bhagwan assumes a human form. That is the first principle that arises. Now hear what he says, huh? He doesn't say, I will become human. What does he say? I will assume a human form. I've now picked up three things as I speak. The second is, who is the I? I will assume a human form. Means he is separate from the human form. Concept of Paramatma, Supreme Soul. And each of us, Ishwarahansa Jivaya Vinashi, the spark of divinity is in each of us. What is that spark of divinity? The soul. So the soul, the super soul, supreme divinity says, he will assume a human form. The second principle is that we are not the body. We are part and parcel of the supreme divinity, the soul. But are you an avatar? Am I an avatar? Can I claim to be an avatar? I could do it, you know. We have a TV station, right? So from tomorrow I'll start blasting Pandit Manidev, avatar of whoever. But what is the difference between God assuming a human form and a human being developing his divinity? There's a difference. Bipradhenu sura santahita Lina Manuja Avatar. Later in Ramayana, just before, after Bhaya Prakat Kripala, this doha appears. Bipradhenu sura santahita Lina Manuja Avatar Nija Ichha, without desire, Nija Ichha Niramitatanu. He assumes a form, Maya, Guna, Gopal. When Bhagwan comes, he is not subject to Maya. He is not subject. He may subject himself, but he is not subjected to, out of the laws of karma. Follow what I'm saying? Nija Ichha, of his own will, Bhagwan manifests himself. Michael, are you here because of your own will? Are we here because of, I don't mean in temp service today. We might be, or some of us might be because of force. But are we in a human form because of our own will? Could we, just before our birth, have said to God, you know what, me welcome? We are not. We are in the cycle of birth and death. You following this? You catching it? Once we have to understand these principles. So as a human being, I'm not perfect. The other principle that is tied in what I'm saying is the law of karma. You see how everything ties in? Firstly, Bhagwan manifests himself. We are contrasting that with he now speaks in the next line about Kashyapanaditi, praying to him and asking a boon. Whatever we ask for, whatever we do, if we don't get it in this life, when do we get it? In the next life. That's why they say there is no loss in devotion. So, Kashyapanaditi, because they had this desire to have a son like Bhagwan, as Bhagwan, what does it mean? They were not liberated. They had to do what? To come back. Like all of us have to come back to complete our journey. Making sense? Following what I'm saying? If not, it don't make sense, right? In the sense of proceeding. Each of us, because of karma, will experience certain things in life, and at the end, at death, we would be reborn, not because we want to be reborn, not because of our own will, but because of the force of karma. I have to come back until I purify myself. Which is why Bhagavad Gita says, how do you burn all your karmas? Karmannevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Perform your duty without expectation. Do not do anything with a sense of ego. And so what happens is you begin the process of purifying yourself. Bhagwan does not need to be purified. Bhagwan is purified. So Bhagwan taking avatar is Nija Ichha, of his own desire. He comes into the world because he says, for your sake, I will come. So that's the difference between an avatar, Bhagwan manifesting, and a human being. Another difference. Bhaye pragata kripala dina dayala. And here again he says, Kaushalya hitakari. For the benefit of Kaushalya, because she asked. Bhagwan does what? Bhaye pragata kripala. Bhagwan manifested, he appeared. Bhagwan Sri Ram did not have a biological birth. Which is why, at the end of his avatar too, he did not die. These are important issues. The avatar is not subject to birth and death. Bhagwan's manifestation. And when Bhagwan manifests, Maya itself cannot contaminate him, because he is the master of Maya. You remember the katha with Lord Shiva, with Sati? When Sri Sita ji was kidnapped and Sati went in Sita's form, thinking that she would fool Sri Ram. And immediately Sri Ram sees her. He cries in one moment, and the next moment Sri Ram asks her, Mata, where is Lord Shiva? And she is standing there in whose form? Sita, the wife that he's crying for. If it was an ordinary man like me and Rohini gone missing, and then she coming towards me, what I do? I go run and hug she up. I might get a slap, but that is something different. The point I'm making is, Bhagwan is not subject to Maya. You and I are subject to Maya. Then gun. You know what the gunas are? Satogun, Rajogun, Tamogun. The modes of nature, the modes of Prakriti. You and I, as human beings, are subjected to it. Bhagwan is above it. So these are differences when we speak of avatar. devotees, in traditional Hinduism. An avatar is the descent of Bhagwan into a human form, based on his own will, not because of karma. And when he comes not and is not subjected to the, he may subject himself, as Sri Ram does, to the conditions that he comes in to show how a human being would react, but he is not subjected to these conditions really. Devotee, so avatar. Bhagwan so loves us, he says for our sake, he will come. Now, Kashyapa and Aditi performing devotion are reborn as Kaushalya and who? Kaushalya and Dashrath. Reincarnation. I won't go in on that, but it's an important cornerstone of Hindu theology. And the truth is, as we become more and more advanced materially and in terms of medical science, you go and read the amount of emerging evidence that suggests that reincarnation is a reality. And it is coming close now to meeting the requirements of that a modern day science needs to say it is a sound principle. So, transmigration of souls, soul moving from one body to another, law of karma, devotees, and avatar. In these two verses, these issues arise. How does it impact on our life? Wherever you are at now, and this is important, if anybody is at the place they want to be and have no interest in moving forward, then something is wrong. You have to rethink your position. Each of us must continue evolving and developing. Each of us must, of necessity, for our own spiritual growth, become better and better with each passing day. Are we becoming better or are we getting worse? Each of us have to answer that question. Based on our own effort, and I'll go back to Bhagavad Gita again. What did Lord Krishna say? We are our own best friends and we are our own worst enemies. A major challenge facing our society, alcoholism. Many of our brothers and sisters are becoming prone and are getting involved in alcohol-related activities and are choosing a good time to talk about it, Carnival. We're having fun. But what happens is that fun means that on a morning you have to drink. Then you find that a day can't pass without you taking a drink. Then what are you doing to yourself? We are our own best friends and we are our own worst enemies. And we have to have the intelligence and the willpower to do that which is best. Now with our children, we can only do so much. You know, the best thing we could do for our children is to imbue in them the best values that we can. Because ultimately, unless our children die before us, it happens too, we will leave our children in this world. And The best inheritance we could give them is a sound value system and good habits. Devotees, we are our own best friends, we are our own worst enemies. If somebody allows himself to be destroyed, or destroy his family life, destroy his whole standing in society, everything, because of a bad habit, who is to blame? And I want to sound a caution this morning. Not because we come temple, we are immune to these things. There are those in temple with those challenges, and I know it. And there's nothing about pointing fingers or anything. People need to grow. We need to objectively assess and analyze what we are doing with ourselves. And today is the day. You know, it might sound like a cliche, but today is the first day of the remainder of our lives. You see what gone behind? It's gone, you know. Can't do anything. The effect of what we did will come. But what we should do from today is start living life in realizing that, one, this is not our only life. And the good that we do will go with us. In this lifespan, let us do our duty. Let us imbue our children with the correct values. Let us make sure we ourselves are good examples. And in every way possible, look for positive development. We have made mistakes. Which is why, devotees, again, you may have heard me say this in the past, that there is no unpardonable sin in Hindu thinking. There is nothing we could do that takes us out of the reach of God. Shri Ram is ever merciful and compassionate. And I will just use Ramayana to show that principle. After all that Ravan did, when Hanuman went to him, Hanuman said to Ravan, Pranatapala Raghunayaka Karuna Sindhu Kharari Gaye Sharan Prabhu Rakhi Hai Sab Aparad Visari Siya Pati Ramachandra Ji Ki Jai Sharanam. Amazing. In Sundarkand, after Ravan kidnapped Sita, Ravan do the sages all that he did. After everything that had happened, Pranatapala Raghunayaka, Shri Ram is the ocean of compassion. Karuna Sindhu Kharari, who destroys all enemies and afflictions. Gaye Sharan Prabhu Rakhi Hai. Go to him, Ravan. Surrender yourself. Sab aparad visari. Shri Ram would accept you. Devotees, there are a lot of people walking around with self-hate, with a sense of stigma in their own minds about themselves. We need to realize that today we can transform ourselves. And how can we do it? Simply recognizing where our shortcomings are and begin the process of reformation. We are our best friends, we are our own worst enemies. Bhagwan Sri Ram, he says he comes for our sake. He protects us. He gives us the capacity from within to develop the strength through his worship to overcome all life's challenges. It's never too late. If we do not complete in this lifetime, there is no pressure. Which is why, as a Pandit, you find the policy or the perspective that is taken is we share the message. Taking that message is up to the individual. As the Shankaracharya would say, if you don't want to listen in this lifetime, okay, next lifetime. Yeah? It's up to us. But why waste time? Samay na aavad barambar. Time doesn't come all the time. Devotees, become the best that you can. Why? Because, again, it all ties back, within me, within you, is the spark of that supreme divinity. Devotees, and our responsibility is to realize our own divinity. Manush mein manush hai, as I conclude. Among men, manush mein manush hai. Among men, they are men. Manush mein kachu bhed. But among human society, there are differences. Manush mein manush hai, manush mein kachu bhed. Manush mein koi devta. Among human society, you will meet people, and when you interact with them, you would think they are like gods. Very upright, very developed, very nice and good to be around. Manush mein koi devta, manush mein koi pret. And among human society, you will meet people who, as the Shankaracharya would have said, are no different from spirits. Are living as though dead. Dead to their own spirituality and their development. Choices are always ours. Kashyapa and Aditi, they prayed, they asked to have a son like Sri Ram. Ravan prayed, he asked to conquer the world. Kashyapa and Aditi came and they were the parents of Sri Ram. Ravan was ultimately destroyed. Devotees, let us take our life with the understanding that this is not my first life. I am the accumulated experiences of this life and previous lives that determine what I am, where I am, how I am, and even how I think now. Everybody's different because of different experiences and different stages of development. What is my duty? Take where I am and go forward. We have in our charge our children. They come with their own karma. What is our duty? To imbue in them values that would help them develop. Devotees, this voice that was heard says, O Devatas, go. Go and in and around the area of Ayodhya. Assume forms as animals, monkeys and bears. Remember, that was the boon of Ravan. Go, Devatas, and I will come together with my part manifestation, and there we shall perform many activities. Devotees, Brahma, who had initiated the prayer, what was the prayer? Jaya Jaya Suranayaka Jana Sukhadayak Pranata Pala Bhagavanta. I suggested you learn it. I must thank Ronald. He sent me the English transliteration, which we will print, so that we can all learn that prayer that the Devatas had used. And now Narad, in this final doha for this morning, Brahma rather, Nijalo kahi viran shige Devana iha hi sivrai Bahanar tanu dhari dhari mahu Hari pad sevahu jai siya Pati Ramachandra ki jai sharanam. Thus, Shankar Bhagwan says, Brahma, after those words were heard, instructed all the Devatas to go and, assuming the form of monkeys, you go to the earth there and await the arrival of Bhagwan, worshipping his feet. इसी में भागवत, इसी में गीता, इसी में भागवत, इसी में गीता। भजु मन राम, भजु मन सीता, भजु मन राम, भजु मन सी। Everybody, Ram Krishna Hare, Gopal Krishna Hare, Ram Krishna Hare, Gopal Krishna Hare. In this way, devotees, for the protection of the devotee, for removing the distress of the devatas and the universe, Bhagwan gave his word that he will assume a human form as Shri Ram, together with his part manifestations. Amongst the reasons also to fulfill the word of Ssrd, which is another katha, and to fulfill the word given to Ssrd and Kaushalya, who as Kashyapana deity had prayed to have him as a son. In this way, devotees, the devatas, they all returned to their respective places and they took forms on earth, awaiting the arrival of Shri Ram. This morning, devotees, principle of avatar, law of karma, law of reincarnation, transmigration of souls, all these things are pointed to in the verses that we read. Our duty as we go forward, devotees, is to become the best that we can be. And before each of us, before every human being, there is choice. Come Monday the 7th, there is choice. Shivratri and Carnival. 4th, my apologies, Monday the 4th, mistake. On Monday the 4th, some people laugh, say, "Boy, if Shivratri is Monday 7th, better." Then, I know some people do that, they come, Om Namah Shivaya, offer jal, and then they headed for Juve. Can't tell people what to do. But if you look at what's happening in the society, really, we should ask ourselves, where do we want to go? We don't have control over the entire world. Yeah? We don't have control even over the whole of Trinidad. Sometimes we don't even have control over our own homes. And as an old fella said to me once, an old man, it sounds funny, but it's quite an interesting thought. I mean, I've shared it here. He said, "Baba, who you go trust? Even your own heart has attacked you." Right? No. I stop. Really, the point is, I don't even have control over my heartbeat, do I? What we really have control over. And that is where Hinduism teaches, have control over your mind, your thoughts, how you approach things. So Carnival. There is creativity in it, yes, but there is so much negativity in it that we have to decide as individuals, as families, how are we going to negotiate events like these. Devotees, choices are ours. My advice to you is always do things that will help uplift you, not degrade you. Devotees, with the blessings of Sri Ram, be with us all. All set? Puja, take a flower in your hand. Let's all join in Havan Sanskar. Om Ang Jalit Mukhe Arun Mata Varun Pita Shandil Gotra Pavakana Magin Devta Namastute Nana Ratna Samayuktam Karatswar Vibhushatam Asan Sri Agin Devta Prityartam Pratighitam Sarva Paparang Divyam Gangeyang Nirmalam Jalam Ashmanam Shamaya Datam Grahitam Purushottama. Gayatri mantra, let's all join 3 times. Om Bhur Bhuvasva Tat Savitur Varenyam भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा। सामग्री। ओम गंगनपते नमः स्वाहा। श्री गौरी माता स्वाहा। पृथ्वी माता स्वाहा। श्री पंचलोकपाल देवाय स्वाहा। श्री नवग्रह देवता स्वाहा। श्री हनुमंताय स्वाहा। श्री सीतारामचंद्राय स्वाहा। श्री राधा कृष्णाय स्वाहा। श्री गोवर्धन गिरिधारी स्वाहा। ओम सीतारामचंद्राय स्वाहा। ओम हनुमंताय स्वाहा। ओम श्री दुर्गा माताय स्वाहा। श्री लक्ष्मी माताय स्वाहा। ओम ऐ सरस्वत्यै स्वाहा। ओम इष्ट देवता स्वाहा। कुल देवता स्वाहा। स्थान देवाय स्वाहा। ग्राम देवाय स्वाहा। एतत् करम प्रधान देवाय स्वाहा। वस्तु देवता स्वाहा। 33 करोड़ देवता स्वाहा। ओम सर्वदेवता सर्वदेवी स्वाहा। ओम श्री अनंत स्वरूपाय स्वाहा। Let's all stand. शिव भगवान। ओम पूर्णमदा पूर्णमदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम नमः शंभवाय च मयोभवाय च नमः शंकराय च मयस्कराय च शिवाय च शिवतराय च। ओम नमः शिवाय स्वाहा। सर्वपापहरं दिव्यं गांगेयं निर्मलं जलम् आचमनं च वेदतं गृहीतां पुरुषोत्तम इति आचमनीयम्। बोले श्री सीतारामचंद्र की जय। Let's join in Ramayana. After Ramayana.
आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति कले तललेट सियपी की। आरती श्री रामायण। आरती श्री रामायण जी की। आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति कले तललित सियपी की। आरती श्री रामायण। आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति कले तललित सियपी की। आरती श्री रामायण। गावत ब्रह्मादिक मुनि नारद वाल्मीक विज्ञान विशारद। सुख सनकारी शेष अरुषारर वर्णि पवन सुत कीरतनी की। संतत गाव शंभु भवानी संतत गावत शंभु भवानी अर्गत शंभव मुनि वेद्यानी
आरती श्री रामाय
व्यासयारी कवि पुंज बकानी काकभूषण गरुड़ की
आरती श्री रामाय
चारु वेद पुराण अष्टदश चारु वेद पुराण अष्टदश चौष्टस्त सब ग्रंथ न कोरस
आरती श्री रामाय
तन मन धन संतन की सर्वस तन मन धन संतन की सर्वस शरयाच सम्मत सबही की
आरती श्री रामाय
कलिमल हरनि विषय रस पीकी कलिमल हरनि विषय रस पीकी सुबर श्रृंगारी मुक्ति युवती की
आरती श्री रामाय
हर निरोग भवपुरी अमी की हर निरोग भवपुरी अमी की तत्मत सब गिरी तुलसी की
आरती श्री रामाय आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति करे तन लित सिय की आरती श्री रामायण
जय शिव ओंकारा हरे शिव ओंकारा जय शिव ओंकारा हरे शिव ओंकारा ब्रह्मा विष्णु सदा शिव हरे गंगेदारा जय शिव ओंकारा हरे शिव ओंकारा एकानन चतुरानन पंचानन राजे हनसासन गरुराशन विश्ववाहन साजे जय शिव ओंकारा हरे शिव ओंकारा दो भुज चारु चतुर भुज दस भुज अति सोहे तीन रूप निरकेता त्रिभुवन मन मोहे जय शिव ओंकारा हरे शिव ओंकारा अक्षमाला बनमाला रुद्रमाला रे चंदन मृग मज चंद बोले शुभकारे श्वेतांबर पीतांबर बाघांबर अंगे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादिक भूतादिक संगे ओम हर 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 महादेव काके मरे कमंडल चक्र त्रिशूल धरता जग करता जग भरता जग संहर करता ओम हर 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 महादेव ब्रह्मा विष्णु सदा शिव जनत विका प्रणव अक्षर मरे ये तीनों एका हर 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 महादेव श्रीगुण स्वामी जी की आरती जो कोई नर गावे कहत शिवानंद स्वामी सुख संपत्ति पावे ओम हर 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 महादेव ॐ शिव 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 शम्भो ॐ हर 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 महादेव।
राम जय सियावर राम, जय सीताराम सीताराम सीताराम, जय सियावर राम। हे राम रामचंद्र हे राम, हमारे रामचंद्र। मौसम दीनन दीन हित, तुम समान रघुबीर। अस विचारि रघुवंश मनि, हरहु विषम भवभीर। कामिहि नारि पियारि जिमि, लोभ ही प्रिय जिमि नाम। तिमि रघुनाथ निरंतर, प्रिय लागहु मोहि राम। ओम श्री रामचंद्र चरणौ मनसा स्मरामि, श्री रामचंद्र चरणौ वचसा गृह्णामि। श्री रामचंद्र चरणौ शिरसा नमामि, श्री रामचंद्र चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचंद्राय वेदसे, रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताय पतये नमः। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव, त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव। त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम। बोले श्री सीताराम चंद्र की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, स्वाहा माता की जय। गर्व से कहो हम हिंदू हैं। बोले श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय। प्लीज बी सीटेड डिवोटीज।